Are there 10 commandments, the 10 commandments in Islam, or an equivalent? Yes. You'll find in Surah Al-Isra, verses 23 to 37, about 12 commandments, because in Islam there are 10 commandments and more than 10 commandments that every Muslim should follow, and it is obligatory to follow them. So in Surah Isra, verses 23 to 37, it says, the first commandment, your Lord has decreed that you worship none but Him. The second commandment, be dutiful to your parents. The third commandment, give to the kinsman his due, and to the poor, and to the wayfarer. And the fourth commandment, do not spend your wealth wastefully in a manner of a spendthrift. The fifth commandment, do not let your hand be tied like a miser to your neck, or stretch it forth to its utmost reach like a spendthrift. Commandment 6, do not kill your children for fear of poverty. Commandment 7, do not come near to unlawful sexual intercourse, fornication, and premarital sex, and adultery. Verily it is a fahisha, anything that transgresses its limit, a great sin. Commandment 8, do not kill anyone whose killing Allah God has forbidden, except for a just cause, except for a good reason. Commandment 9, do not come near to the orphan's property except to improve it, until he attains the age of full strength. Commandment 10, give full measure when you measure, and weigh with a balance that is straight. Commandment 11, do not follow that of which you have no knowledge. Commandment 12, do not walk the earth with conceit and arrogance and pride. And those are all the commandments found in the Surah Al-Isra, verses 23 to 37. There are more commandments than just these in Islam. There are not only 10 commandments. There's many other prohibitions and things that are forbidden. And in Surah Al-An'am, verses 151 to 152, it's about the same commandments as before, but some of the others are not there. But these commandments are just confirming the others, and they both do not differ. Only in the others they have more, but those commandments are always in Islam observed, because there are more than 10 commandments. If you number all the commandments, they could be going to the hundreds. So first commandment in Surah Al-An'am, verses 151 to 152. Number 1, join not anything in worship with Him, Allah, God. Commandment 2, be good and dutiful to your parents. Commandment 3, do not kill your children because of fear of poverty or of poverty. Commandment 4, do not come near to al-fahisha, fawahish, fornication, premarital sex, shameful sins, and illegal intercourse, adultery. Commandment 5, do not kill anyone whom Allah God has forbidden except for a just cause, a good reason. Commandment 6, do not come near to the orphan's property except to improve it until he or she attains the full age of strength. Commandment 7, give full measure and weight with justice. And those are all the commandments in Surah Al-An'am. 7 commandments there, and in the Surah Al-Isra it was 12. But in Islam there are more than 12 or 7 commandments. And then there are other commandments that you can find in the Torah, and those commandments are also in Islam. Such a commandment is, you shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above or in the earth below, or that is in the water underneath. You shall not bow to them, these created gods, or serve them. And in Islam, drawing Allah God is a sin. It is forbidden in Islam, and it is also forbidden to draw the prophets and messengers of Allah God. And another commandment you shall find is to remember the Sabbath day. In Islam we have remember the Friday. Pray the Friday prayer. That is the command we have. O you who believe, when the call is proclaimed for the prayer on Friday, Friday prayer, come to the remembrance of Allah, God, and leave off business and every other thing. That is better for you if you did not know, if you did but know. And there is, you shall not commit adultery. In Islam we also have the same prohibition, forbidden it. Committing adultery is a sin, forbidden in Islam. You shall not steal. Stealing is a sin, forbidden in Islam. And bearing false witness against anyone is a sin, forbidden in Islam. And in the Torah you have, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. And also in Islam you cannot bear false witness against your neighbor. And being jealous or coveting, wanting what your neighbor has, desiring it in an evil way, that is also a disease of the heart and evilness from shaitan, and not a good way to follow. And these are the commandments in Islam. And see how similar it is, that which came after confirming that which they had with them.
Now in Islam we don't have only 10. We have these and a bit extra, formulated to fit and suit Islam as a religion that is capable of being implemented till the end of time. And this is what makes Islam stands in front of all other religions, that there's no religion after it. There's no messenger after our Prophet Muhammad. There's no prophet after him. So this is the final testament, the final religion. It must go through the acid test. It must prove that it is applicable, compatible to all times and locations till the end of time. So we have commandments in chapter 6, verse 153 onwards. Allah says, Azza wa Jal, to follow Tawheed in 153. And before that, in 151, that is, from 151 till 153 of chapter 6, Allah says, say, Kamal, recite what your Lord has prohibited to you. He commands that you associate anything with Him, and to parents good treatment, and do not kill your children out of poverty. We will provide for you and them, and do not approach immoralities, and so on. It goes on listing these things. Also, we have in Surah Al-Isra in chapter 17, where Allah Azza wa Jal says from verse 31 onwards, and do not kill your children for fear of poverty. Do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Allah says, do not kill the soul which Allah has forbidden except by right, and whoever is killed unjustly, so and so and so. Allah says, do not approach the property of orphan. And Allah says, give full measure when you measure, and weigh with an even balance, etc. So all of these things are commandments of Allah Azza wa Jal, but they're not limited to 10. It governs our own lives. It governs our relationship with our Maker. It governs our relationship with those living around us, whether Muslims or non-Muslims. So yes, if you look at these locations which I've mentioned earlier, you will find this clearly, bi-idhnillah azza wa jal.